Parshas Toldos Tafshin Peivav. This year will require a little bit more effort. It's a little bit deeper than usual. Not much, but a little bit. So we're going to start by seeing the pesukim and just try to understand what's hiding behind it. Okay, the Torah here is telling us a story. Yitzchak is going to go to Gerar, to Eretz Philistines, to Avimelech, where Avraham was once already. And he's going to do only one thing. Let's see through the pesukim. Vayelech misham Yitzchak. I'm going to abbreviate on the questions. There are so many, but I'm going to say the most obvious one. Vayelech misham Yitzchak. So when people started saying that the garbage of Yitzchak is more valuable than the gold of Avimelech, because anyone that had any dealings with Yitzchak Avinu became rich. It didn't matter what. Helped him this, take his garbage out, became rich. So Avimelech got jealous and kicked him out of Gerar. Where is Yitzchak going? So he left Gerar, Vayichan benachal Gerar. And he camped on Nachal Gerar. So you had the city of Gerar, and you had the Nachal somewhere outside the city, which was a few meals, the Midrash says, away from the city, like a tchum of Shabbos. Really? Are these people normal? In the old times, even today, if you have running water, if you have natural source of water, where are you going to build a city? By the water. Today, we can't afford to build cities far away from the water because we have running water. But then they didn't have running water. So why would you go away from the Nachal? And if you read the words, Vayichan benachal, into the Nachal. I'm sorry. What have you done, Yitzchak? Have you built a house on top of the water? And now it's called Nachal Gerar. Vayeshev Sham. And he sat there. Vayichan tells me already what he did. Vayeshev Sham, I don't understand what he's coming to tell me. Vayashav Yitzchak, and again the pasuk is marich in the Lashon. He returned, Vayachper, but I'll give, es be'erois hamayim. And he dug the wells of water. In case you're going to think that the be'erois there of snakes or be'erois hamayim. And the be'erois is missing a vav. Why did the Torah forget to write a, not forget, I mean, didn't write a vav in be'erois? Asher chafru. The extension is going to go that they dug out Bimei Avraham Avi, in a time of Avraham, his father. Vaisatmum Pelishtim, and the Pelishtim closed them up. Achare Mois Avraham. Look at the extension of Lashon. Vayikra Lahem Shemois, and he called them name Kashemois, the same names Asher Kal Lahem Aviv, that his father called them. What do we care? Let me ask you a question. Where was Avraham living? In Beersheba? He was living in Hebron? Times, depending on the times, right? What do we care about So when he went down to Eretz Philistines, he dug out wells to do chesed with the Philistines. If the Philistines don't want them and close them, is that a reason for you, Yitzchak Avinu, to go down there and reopen them? The Philistines don't want those wells. The tzaddik has to leave Eretz Yisrael in order to go to Eretz Philistines to dig out wells or re-dig out wells that Avraham dug out and that the Philistines closed up. Why would you do that? Philistines, the Reshaim. Then, another wonder. Vayachperu avdei Yitzchak banachal. Now we change tone here. It's no longer Yitzchak that's going to dig. It's his servants. So why did he call his servants beforehand? If you have servants, Yitzchak Avinu, that can dig out wells, why would the tzaddik himself dig them out? Because here the pasuk stresses the fact that the pasuk mentions afterward that he was Avdei Yitzchak. So when it says Vayashav Yitzchak Vayachper in singular, I mean it was him. Why would you do that? So afterward is Avdei Yitzchak Banachal in the river. Really? Really? We need to dig. You have natural water. And you go and dig a well in the Nachal. What for? What purpose does it serve? And watch out, the pasuk is going to tell you, Vayimtzeu sham, and they found Be'er Mayim Chaim, a well of running water. Mayim Chaim means it's alive. It means it's running. Comes from a Mayan. Yeah, hello, you're in the Nachal. So if you're in the Nachal, obviously you have running water. Well, what's this pasuk telling me? And if Yitzchak went to do a avodah, when he keep on doing it and dig, listen, I can give you that question from a different angle. When you have to draw water from a well, and I don't know how many, every roy, every shepherd has so many animals. Let's say by Avimelech and everything, they had a few hundred heads. To give them water, it's a lot of work. Rather than letting the animal drink from the river directly, right? So why would they want a well there? It's not serving any purpose. It's a disservice. So what did Yitzchak Avinu do? What are these pesukim telling me that makes really no sense when you translate the words? I won't be able to go in everything, but I will give you an overlook, but you'll understand that something very, very deep is cooking here. And everything is hidden with the words that make no sense. So we go in and we find the real meaning of those words. The Midrash Tanchuma says, at the beginning, Yitzchak Avinu wanted to go down to Mitzrayim. So there was a rav. There was a famine, exactly like at the time of Avraham. This doesn't happen by itself, right? This is a sign that you're going to move. That's how HaKadosh Baruch Hu makes the tzaddik move. If there was no famine in Eretz Philistines, I just don't understand Yitzchak. Yaakov Avinu showed us the way. He didn't go down to Mitzrayim. He sent his children. You, Yitzchak, you have avodim. Send avodim. Send them there and let them bring you food from Eretz Philistines. Why do you have to move? Especially that the Midrash said the Avis, the Rav never touched them. So why did you move? Why did Yaakov Avinu go down? If that's the trace or the track that you have to follow every time you see, we'll have to understand what triggered them to have to go away. HaKadosh Baruch Hu tells him, you altered Mitzrayim. Don't go down to Egypt. So the Midrash asked, so when did he say so to Avraham or to Avraham Avinu? He let him go to Egypt. So Rabbi Ishaya answers that there is a difference. Avraham Avinu was born outside of Eretz Yisrael, or what's going to be Eretz Yisrael. Yitzchak Avinu was born in Eretz Yisrael. And therefore, you cannot go out of Eretz Yisrael. And he says, you are a pure oila. Also, you went on a Mizbeach. But the main reason is Rabbi Ishaya in the Midrash, you were born in Eretz Yisrael. I have a question. It's a double-solved question. Yaakov Avinu was born in Eretz Yisrael. But HaKadosh Baruch Hu told him, go down to Egypt. Didn't have a problem. When did the Midrash asking Rabbi Ishaya this? If I know that question, the Tanaim for sure know it. So, what is Rabbi Ishaya really telling me here? That HaKadosh Baruch Hu prevented Yitzchak Avinu from going down to Mitzrayim because he was born in Eretz Yisrael. But so was Yaakov Avinu, and that didn't prevent HaKadosh Baruch Hu from sending him to Mitzrayim. So why did he prevent Yitzchak from going to Mitzrayim? There are two clippers, two huge clippers that represent the aura that surround the breast when a child is born. Is the clipper of Mitzrayim is called Ervas Haaretz. They had no morality whatsoever. Nothing. It was terrible. The permissivity there was terrible. And you had another klipa. How do we call them? Pelishtim. Shamu amim yergazun chilochaz yoshve pelashes. Yoshve pelashes. What they call Pelishtim? Because they reside in Peleshes. And Tehillim, a lot of time this word come around. Peleshes, it's a huge, huge klipa. Huge. And very briefly, because it's a different shir, I want to tell you that that's the reason that HaKadosh Baruch Hu didn't let us go through Eretz Pelishtim after Yetzias Mitzrayim. Veloi nacham Eloikim derech Eretz Pelishtim. And it takes quite a bit. Took me close to 2 hours today to explain in a shir this clip of Peleshes. Only this clip of Peleshes. Where Shimshon went, you know, what's the whole side there? It's huge. It's a huge subject on its own, so I'm going to leave it alone. However, we have to understand, why is Yitzchak allowed to go to the klipa of Peleshes, but not the klipa of Erbas Haaretz? The Zohar HaKadosh says in Parshas Toldos that Avraham Avinu said to Sarah, Ki omati rak en yiras Elohim b'makom hazeh. There's no yiras shamayim in this place, in Mitzrayim, when he went to Mitzrayim. And that applies, says the Zohar, also to Yitzchak Avinu. Okay. So there's no yiras shamayim neither in Grar, in Eretz Philistines. So what? So if HaKadosh Baruch Hu prevented him from going to Mitzrayim because of the lack of yiras shamayim, and there's none in Eretz Philistines, why is HaKadosh Baruch Hu allowing him to go to Eretz Philistines? Zohar, I mean, I don't understand you. And the Zohar finishes, but once he saw the Shekhinah on the head of his wife, he reconnected, he reinforced himself with the Emunah because he knew that he would need it in a place like this. I don't know, the Zohar speaks in a language I don't understand. It would be the same in Mitzrayim. So read, and the Shekhinah is always going with the tzaddik. So why Hashem forbade him to go to Mitzrayim, but allows him to go to a place that says no yiras shamayim, and he needs tremendous emunah to overcome the test over there? And he's going to say exactly like his father. He's going to say about his wife, she's my sister. Avraham Avinu, I understand. You are saying the truth. Not the complete truth, but he asked you a question, you answered him with his truth. Meaning that she was by father, not by mother, a sister. But you, Yitzchak Avinu, you the Gvura, you don't accept any dent. Everything has to be perfect. You lied. She's not your sister. Rivka was born by Lavan. You don't share neither a father, neither a mother. So how come you said something which is not emes? Especially, the chesed is lenient. The chesed is accepting, that we swerve around the borderlines. But the Gvura does not accept. The line is straight. Here you're in the wrong, here you're in the right. And so Yitzchak Avinu, yourself, how would you come up with something like this and say a lie? It's not acceptable. You are the father of the one who's going to be the midah of emes, Yaakov Avinu. How can you give birth if you swayed from the emes? How can you give birth to someone that's going to carry the midah of emes? I would like to show you first where HaKadosh Baruch Hu, you want to go down a little bit of this year. We really need to understand more and get the picture where HaKadosh Baruch Hu is playing. Where is his playing field? How he's pulling the strings. And interestingly, for those who learn with me the Otzros Chaim, it steams the Otzros Chaim that we just learned that Monday. So you'll understand even more. Let me bring you to the page so everyone can follow. So he's leaving because he saw Rav. Rav, it's a famine. It's the din. So says the Ari HaKadosh, the resh equals the name Elohim, the back of the name of Elohim. So whenever we talk about the back, it's written like this. We write first the first letter, then the others, the two. Now Aleph Lamed Hey. Now we always add after that one more, and then it's Elohim. This equals 200. Then we have Ayin base, which is also the back of the name of the Yud Kei Vav Kei. Yud Kei Vav, Yud Kei Vav Kei equals 72. When the two names, Hashem Elohim, which are usually intended when they're in the right form or the face, they intended to annul the din. When both of them turn back to back, the din becomes very big, says the Ari HaKadosh, and there's a famine on earth. So wherever you see a famine in a land, you know which Shemesh brought it. So, I mean, just since I mentioned this, I'll finish with Ari HaKadosh. When you have Sava, you have abundance. It's also the name of Hashem, but the face-to-face. Says the Ari, Shin, equals Aleph, Lamed, Hey, Yud, Mem, equals 300. Okay. Ayin base equals Yud, Hey, Vav, Hey, equals 72. You see a different 72, 72 for the bad, 72 for the good. These two names, not only they face each other face to face, but they are opened up. There's a lot of chesed. That's why there's Sava, there's abundance. When you see abundance in a country, you know which Shem is bringing. So Yitzchak saw there was a din. He decided, I need to turn back those names back face to face. And he looked and he realized the reason that these names are back to back like this, it's because the Shekhinah is not here. The Shekhinah was being trapped in Eretz Philistines. Why was he trapped? Because Chava, by eating and by giving the fruits to others, she created a huge gam in the Shekhinah that the Nachash would rule the Malchus. The Malchus lost. Let me show you the importance of Chava so you understand what I'm going to say, because from now on here, we're going to start going down into that avenue. If you take the name Yud, Hey, Vav, Hey, which equals 45, which equals Adam. I'm not going to go give a share on the whole thing here. Just want to show you something. If I'm taking only the inside letters, This equals to 19, equals Chava. You see the Pgam that was done, how far and how high it went. There's no Adam and there's no more Chava. You have to, so Avraham was Mesaken the Nefesh. Yitzchak had to do the Ruach, which is more complicated, because at that point he has to go from world to world, and Yaakov will do the Neshama. And in each one, they have to go down to this and be Mesaken, those letters inside the name of Hashem. So when Yitzchak starts his mission, that's the reason these names have turned back to back, because now we're facing again the Chet Etz Hadas. But this time it's not to repair the Nefesh, it's to repair the Ruach. That said, let's keep on. On the Zohar we mentioned, we have Rebbe Avraham Azulai, the great-grandfather of the Chida HaKadosh, in the Chama, explains, Avimelech was a Rasha. And when he saw Rivka, he saw her beauty, he was very enticed to take her. But he was very scared to touch her, because he remembered what happened to him when Avraham came. He says, I had this story already, someone telling me he looked very much like that man, and he told me it's his sister. So he was doing kishufim, witchcrafting, in order to try to find out, was she his sister? Was she his wife? If she was his wife, I don't touch her. But if she was his sister, he will take her. Same thing say the Zohar HaKadosh in a different word on the pasuk here. Vayashkef Avimelech Melech Pelishtim. Vayashkef, it means, he didn't say Vayar, any lashon. Shkifa, hashkifa mime'oin kodshecha min hashamayim. It's a deep look. And that tells us already that he was looking deeper than just with the eyes, the natural eyes. But then we don't understand. Be'ad hachaloin? By the window? Which window? Well, you know, his palace, to know which window he was looking through. The pasuk could have stopped right here and put a period. Vayashkev Avimelech Melech Perishtim. I understand already that he was doing something when we have this lashon hashkifa. He was trying to envision. It's not a lashon of vision, it's to envision. But the pasuk added me a word, but instead of helping me, he added on the enigma, because he says the window. Which window? I don't know that window. I brought a few answers to this one. I want to give you a tough one, because I want to start. You're going to see the names today. It's a good introduction to the names of Hashem to understand the depth they have. If we take that word, this equals to 99. This equals, you won't believe it and you're not going to like it. Sorry. Elohim. Says the Ari HaKadosh, when you turn the hay, he's not talking about this Ari HaKadosh, talking about Shara Kavanas. It's a different thing. It's talking about Shemona Esrei there. But he says, if you turn Elohim like this, Aleph, Lamed, instead of the hay has to be written with 3 Vav. Yud, Mem, this equals to 99. I just wanted to emphasize the fact that a lot of time the names of Hashem are never static. They're always in motion. Once we see a hay could be a Dalet Yud, could be a Dalet Vav, could be Vav, Vav, Vav. A lot of the time, especially in the brachas, this is part of the Kavanas. And here that teaches us that basically he was doing witchcrafting. He was going after Elohim Acherim, and he wanted to see. So we see that when the pasuk added one extra word, and on that extra word he put a pronoun that's a little bit incorrect, if I would say. Ha-chaloim, the, but I don't know which one. This teaches you, the Torah comes here to teach you what they were doing. What was there? The Ramak says, how is it possible? He's asking basically, how is it possible that Avraham Avinu, prior to arriving there, he said, Ani ras Elohim. And Yitzchak, you didn't say it. Why? You think that it's Eretz Yisrael? Grar. Explains the Ramak here. Yes, the same city can have 2 dimensions depending who you are. In other words, Avraham comes from the Chesed. For the midah of Chesed to go to Eretz Pelishtim, it's dangerous. You could be affected. It's not Eretz Yisrael. When it's the midah of Gvura going there, is not being affected. Why? Explains the Ramak. He explains that Yeshua in Kivush Rishon, Yeshua did not conquer Eretz Pelishtim. When David HaMelech conquered Eretz Yisrael 2nd times, didn't conquer Eretz Pelishtim. Everything around it, but he left it alone. But says the Ramak, when Mashiach will come, he will conquer Eretz Pelishtim. Because if you look at the pasuk that gives us the delimitations of Eretz Yisrael, Eretz Pelishtim is included. So you'll ask yourself, so why Yeshua stayed away from it? And why David HaMelech stayed away from it? Because of the klipa of Peleshes. If you take Peleshes equals 810, Hashchina Hakdoisha, this, it can overpower the Shechina. In other words, as long as there's work to be done to complete the Shechina from the Chet of Chava, we cannot, they have power. Because there's nitzoitzes of Kedusha there in Gra. And there's nothing we can do in order to eradicate them, as we can see till today. Why? Because still there's nitzoitzos to gain from there. And don't you think it was done just because the army decided to go to Gaza this time and whatever? The Philistines that davened there, these holy soldiers, the one that left their lives there saving others, the chesed that was done, the mitzvahs that were done, protect Eretz Yisrael and everything. All these took out nitzoitzos from there. And is mekarev the geula. When we can't do it through our tefillas, through our learning, HaKadosh Baruch Hu has to do it through hardship for a few young kids. And some of them are going to get hurt. Some of them are going to lose their lives. Some others are going to come back. But who knows how and so forth. Peleshes is a tremendous klippa. What it does, it takes everything from the Shekhinah and don't enable her to be standing and take care of her children. So in other words, we see a different optics here. We see a different approach now all of a sudden. Did Yitzchak Avinu go there to free the Shekhinah from the hand of the Klippa? So we're going to have to relearn the pesukim a little bit a different way. But maybe something, something along these lines did happen. I'm going to take you to that conclusion, but smoothly. I don't want to go in a shock. I'm going to go smoothly. When Yaakov Avinu, had to go, Hashem told him, go to Mitzrayim. He told HaKadosh Baruch Hu, he brought zvachim leloike aviv Yitzchak. So the Midrash is asking, the Tanchuma is asking in Parshas Vayishlach, why only to Eloike aviv Yitzchak? Sometimes it says, on other things, it says Eloike aviv Avraham, Eloike aviv Yitzchak, Hashem, Ha'omer Elai. So sometimes he davens to HaKadosh Baruch Hu as the God of Avraham and the God of Yitzchak. And now here he brought this vachim only to Yitzchak. Explains the Midrash. This was the kavanah of Yaakov Avinu. You told my father, don't go down to Mitzrayim. He wanted to go outside of Eretz Yisrael. You didn't let him. Why? Because he was a oila. But me, I have to leave because my brother, so he was, sorry, by Charan, by Pashas Vayetze, but so I had to leave my brother, I had to leave my country because my brother is pursuing me. Why didn't you prevent it? So that was the tefillah of Yaakov Avinu prior to going to Haran. Why don't you prevent me also? That's why the korbanos that he brought, it was leloike aviv Avraham. These two klippas, we find them in the first pasuk in Bereshis, but I don't want to go explain you this. There's no much to show you how they're holding toihu and boihu, the klippa of Mitzrayim and the klippa of Philistines. Mitzrayim is in the chesed of the Sitra Achra. So it's within the realm of the 7 middos, the 7 days of this week, against Sunday. You have the Sunday di Kedusha and the Sunday of Tumah. Then, and don't you think it's for no reason that the Goyim chose Sunday as the day, the Catholic as the day of rest. Don't you think they moved from Saturday where they used to rest, you know, just like in the Torah, they moved it to Sunday because they moved till the first day, I mean, to the highest day of Tuma. But still, anything is manageable from this world for a person when it's within the 7 spheroids that control the 7 days of this world. But Philistine is not there. Philistine is in the Bina. Philistine is above the 8. And I prove it. And therefore, there is no power in this world that can unsettle them besides the normal way when a tzaddik elevates himself to the Bina, like Moshe Rabbeinu, like Yaakov Avinu, you know, things like this. Tzaddikim like this, they are able to take down the malchus of the Bina of the Tuma. But otherwise, us, we would get hurt trying. We would get hurt trying to attack it. We have no power right now to unsettle the Philistines. We have no power. Only when Mashiach will come, we will have the power to do it. And by the way, that's the one that was Mekatreg at the time of the 2 Bate Mikdashes. Look at the Ramban. I don't want to go neither. It's a side share. It's the one that destroyed the Bate Mikdashes. It's the one that took the Bnei Yisrael out in Golus. The Klippa of the Philistine is the one that created havoc, and that's the one that is Tisha B'Av. If I have time, I'll show you how Tisha B'Av is in there. We don't realize it, but it's right there. Okay. HaKadosh Baruch Hu, I would like to understand. We say we finish Yom Kippur, when we are in the Bina, we finish Yom Kippur by saying, Hashem hu ha'Elokim. At the end of the day, anything that occurs around us, it's triggered by HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Yitzchak went there. I want to start from the very beginning. Because if I get the lead, what was the intention then? When HaKadosh Baruch Hu decided to push Yitzchak to go, we will understand everything and be able to answer all the questions. So, there is a Zohar in the Tikkunim that goes into Gematrias and everything, and he opens us a window, which I would like you to see. It's short, but it's going to give us a base. If I take it here, you'll understand better. If I take it here, you will understand better. So we have what we call the Shem Ma, which equals 45 equals Adam. Okay, this is the name we said above, Yud, Hey, Vav, Hey. Now, if I fill up this name, Mem, Hey, equals 86, equals Elohim. This shows you that Elohim is only a levush on HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Elohim per se is not God. Is when HaKadosh Baruch Hu has to come lower in this world, he wears the name Elohim upon himself. I can just image you that. And says, who was this? I can't remember if it was the Ari HaKadosh who said this or someone else. If you take these two letters, which equals 40, and write instead a letter mem, you will have Elohim will be exactly those letters. That's how, let's say it's the Zohar say this, can remember. That's how the Shem Elohim comes and has powers, through this name of HaKadosh Baruch. So now when we want to know where is the source of power of this name, despite his being a levush, is when HaKadosh Baruch Hu comes and wears the cloth Elohim, which equals also HaTeva, the nature. So means it's a disguise. Things happen in nature. It's always HaKadosh Baruch Hu behind it with this name. And says the Zohar, if you take these letters, Aleph Beis, Gimel Dalet, Hey Vav, Zayin Ches, Tes Yud, equals Shechina, which is now. There's no Shechina here, you know. You're not even reaching 200. The meaning is 1 times 1, 1, 2 times 2. So you go like this. You have 1 here. Then you have 2 times 2, 4. 3 times 3, 9. 4 times 4, 16. 5 times 5, 25. 6 times 6, 36. 7 times 7, 49. 8 times 8, 64. 9 times 9, 81. 10 times 10, 100. Equals 385. Equals Shechina. Okay, it's nice, right? But look how he's going to serve us. In other words, we have here formation of all the names and all the purpose of Yitzchak going down to Mitzrayim. If we take the Shem, which is, so we have Hashem Elohim, the Rav told us these two names were backward. And he understood that he has to go and turn them frontward. But the Zohar added me that the 10 first letters of the alphabet are the Shechina, and the Shechina is not there. Okay? But if you take Aleph Dalet Nun Yud, which equals 65, plus Shem Keye of the Bina, equals 86. Now we see a different name, Elohim. So Elohim is not always only Yud Ke Vav Ke. It could be the Malchus getting close to the Shechina. For you to understand, I'm going to start giving you different names. This name is in Rachel. Rachel Imeinu is the Malchus, she is down below. Keye is either Sarah, Imenu, or Rivka. They are the Bina and the Tvuna. I mean, they're both part of the Bina. When you put them together, Elohim is Leah. In other words, we have the Malchus is composed by two people, is Rachel and Leah. However, from here we see that when Rachel gets to the Bina, automatically you get Leah. So it's not so critical. Rachel could not be born. The Nitzoitz of Rachel fell in Eretz Philistines. Avraham Avinu was not able to free it. In other words, they went to do be'eros, right? They went to dig wells. Well, very funny. We know be'er is already 2 or 3. We know what's in the be'er: Banei, Chaye, Mezoine. All the brachas are inside the be'er. But I don't want to go too deep here. I want to explain you something in the simplest manner possible. But the be'er equals also Yud, Hey, Vav, Hey, Aleph, Hey, Yud, Hey. The shemus of the Malchus. The fact that Yitzchak Avinu, if we were talking about natural wells, he would have never gone back there. Who is the be'er? The Malchus. So Abraham Avinu did a certain work, but the Philistines were able to overcome while the tzaddik was alive. That's why it says here, when Acharei Mois Avraham was able to withstand and hold his work as long as he was alive. It was Midas HaChesed. But once the Chesed was no longer there, by Satmum Philistine, they canceled his work. But Yitzchak is going there, and he realized Avraham Avinu, it says in the pasuk, Vayachperu Avdei Avraham. He was Avdei Aviv. It was the servants of Avraham that did the work. It didn't work. That's why Yitzchak is going now, and he's going to dig out the nitzoitzos of the be'er, which is called Rachel. He's going to dig them out himself. What did Yaakov, when Yaakov arrived to Haran, what did he see first? A be'er. Who did he meet at the be'er? Rachel. Who did that work, made it possible? Yitzchak and Rivka. That was the work. That was that be'er that he went back after. We're not talking, if we were talking about natural be'er, why should it be on the river? But we know, and I'm going to explain you this since it's, we're going to start soon. It's going to be Rosh Chodesh Kislev, and if you take the word lehadlik ner Chanukah, and this is where he meets what we've learned in the Atzras Chaim. Lamed, first letter, Nun, Ches. Nachal. That's the Nachal. V'nachal yoytze me'eden lehashkois es hagan. And there is a river which is the Yesod coming out of the Bina, and that provides to the Malchus. That's the Nachal that Yitzchak went to. We're not talking about Nechalim of water or so forth. But the true Nachal we're talking about here is Noitzer Chesed Lo Alofim. Nun Ches Lamed. And you're going to see, they're both going to meet. It's the same thing. I'm just going to give you something that you know better. Noitzer Chesed Lo Alofim equal 603. Equals Bnei Yisrael. Can't have Bnei Yisrael without having Rachel Imein. She is the Shechina. Without her protection, Bnei Yisrael are lost. Without her, there's no Yud Beshvatim. Yitzchak Avinu went. Now let's see the pasuk, if it's true. It says Be'eros, without a vav. Why does it say without a vav? We ask the question. That's the reason. Now you see it in the pasuk. So why this nachal? So this nachal, I'm going to go a bit slow just to explain you this because it's very, that's the kavana of the ner of Chanukah. This nachal, what is it? You have the chachma and the bina. Yud ke vav ke ke. Everything starts there. The bracha, the shefa, everything comes from this. When they go below, it remains Yud Ke Vav Ke, but the bina changes her name. It becomes Eloikim. When again the shefa goes down below, Hashem always keep his name, and it becomes Aleph Dalet Nun Yud. When you take these three names together, okay, it's all together equals 250, like ner. Now you understand, to light the ner of Chanukah, you're pulling the oil from the Chokhmah and the Bina when it gets down a little bit. So it's darker, so we lose a little bit of oil. One of the names changes, and then even lower loses a bit more. This is the ner. This is the lehadlik ner Chanukah. That's what we do during the ner. We bring from the Chokhmah and the Bina, we bring in the oil and soif. That's why the Ari HaKadosh says during the first half hour, when the lights are burning, it's good to look with your eyes, because if your eyesight got lower, you're regaining your eyesight. Why? Because it's oil and soif. It's the oil that heals. And it's only there, even if your Ner Chanukah lights for 3 hours, it's only there for half an hour. That's what we do with the bracha. Now, if we take the two lower Yehudim, because I'm going to prove it through every angle, the questions that we asked on Yitzchak Avinu on the pesukim are too strong. If we take the lower two, equals 2 or 3, equals Be'er. So now you see for yourself that what is the Be'er? The Be'er is really, why do we call it Be'er? Because it's going to encompass the Shefa coming from Chokhmah and Bina. And who is the Be'er? The Be'er are those two Yehudim. This is the path, the Nachal, the path that the bracha, the oir from HaKadosh Baruch Hu, when he goes down, this is how he reaches the Bnei Yisrael. So when Yitzchak Avinu saw that there was no be'er and the Bnei Israel are going to be through their lifetime in the midbar, in the wilderness, how are they going to be able to survive? You have no water. So he had to go there and dig these be'eros dafka for the Bnei Israel. That's what he went to do. I mean, obviously, could go a little bit deeper in the Shemesh, but I think I gave you quite a bit today already on the yeah, I'm going to finish on this last one. So he went to Grar, which equals 403, equals Adam Nachash. This is where the Nitzoitza is, that Adam Arisha, and when we say Adam, is Adam and Chava all the time, because Zachar and Keva, HaKadosh Baruch Hu called them Adam. This is where in where is it? In Shmuel, when they stole the Aron HaKodesh, the Philistines, they put it in front of Dagon. The god is called Dagon. Who's the god? Who's Dagon? Dagon is two serpents. When you look at the crown of Paroi, look on Google it. You're gonna see in the front two serpents. This philosophy, we think that people today are more civilized, and they're you can be friendly. No, they just learn how to hide their way and their philosophy. But the philosophy of the Nachash is still persisting. It's still in the Vatican. It's still everywhere. That's the Nechashim. The dream of the Nachash is always still to trap the Malchus. Why? Because the Malchus is providing the Shefa. So if they have the Shefa as we see they have today, it's the Goyim becoming rich. So it means a lot of the Nitzoitzos, people don't realize they become friendly. You know, I gave a share, and I need to argue. What is the midah of the Philistine that is so strong? Why is it? Says the Ramak, the Moshe Kodovero, the Rebbe of Dari HaKodesh. If Paroi knew the koyach of Leitzanus, he would have never, Bnei Israel would have never been able to get out of Mitzrayim. What are they, the Philistines? Leitzanus. That's the midah. Says the Ramak, with Leitzanus, you can see the sky through a window, but with jokes and everything, I can't make you believe that you're not seeing the sky, you're seeing earth. And you'll agree. That's the koyach of Leitzanus, to be makrish, even what's the evidence. And you have to get back the das in order to regain, you know, your power to decide. Even when a person like Shimshon, who he used to go out, he loved the Bnei Israel so much. He would not endanger, which we have never seen at any time. He would not endanger any of them. He used to go to war with Philistines by himself. On him applies the pasuk, Ki aza kamaves ahava, that he has such a strong love for the Bnei Yisrael. Kasha kish oil kina. The kina, the jealousy, is as hard as the Gehinnom. But he had a pure love. On his last tefillah to HaKadosh Baruch Hu, when he prayed HaKadosh Baruch Hu to give him back his power, what did he say? I never requested from any of them to even bring me my stick. I never used. So look at the Avas Yisrael. But the pasuk says, "Velo yada," he didn't know. Kisar Hashem meyala. The HaKadosh Baruch Hu left him. Didn't even realize. He thought that such Avas Hashem he had, Avas Yisrael, he'll be always protected. Not when you're among the Philistines. Among the Philistines, they'll destroy the biggest tzaddik. Even a tzaddik like Shimshon, like we never had, to the point there's a machlokes in the Gemara, in the Zohar, if he has olam haba. There's a machlokes amongst the Talmidim of the Ariyah Kodesh if he has olam haba. That how far we can see that the Leitzanus, and the proof is Leitzanus equals 591. Ki aza kamaves ahava equals 591. To show you how strong it is, the tzaddik won't even realize that he's going to lose his madrega. Baruch Adonai le'olam, amen ve'amen. Now we know why Yitzchak went down, for the be'er, for Rachel Imenu, for Yaakov Avinu. But if I would have to go through the whole again pasuk, we would be here in 2 more hours. I don't do the same mistake as I've done this afternoon. It took me 3 hours. It was too long. All the best, and we stop.